morning and greetings from Northumberland. It's the 26th of September. It's just before sunrise, as is now the custom as the nights grow longer. Not very many of these will happen after the sun has risen for a few months at least. But I always look better in the dark. Today we have two saints. It's strange, isn't it? We have none for many days, and then we have two. And I'm just going to say a very small amount about each of them. The first of them is a Russian saint, St. Sergei or St. Sergius, who died in 1392, a long time ago, 600 years or more ago. But he is regarded as the patron saint of Russia. And that's interesting because he was a very simple person who chose to live in a retreat in a religious community and devote himself to prayer. And his life was attractive, almost like St. Francis of Assisi's life, who we'll celebrate at the weekend. But next weekend, that is, not this weekend. But he also was, as often these reclusive figures became, someone to whom people turned to advice. And when the Tsar, the Russian leader, turned to him for advice in the face of another Tartar invasion, at this time Russia was very much oppressed by the Tartars from the east, and asked whether he should give in or she should fight on against what seemed insuperable odds, Sergei said to him that he should fight on and seek to defend Christianity and Russia from this invader. And fighting on, freedom was achieved, as was Sergei's place in Russian history. A very simple man, but someone who, from his position of simplicity, made a very big difference to the Russian nation. Lancelot Andrewes, who died in 1626, is a figure probably immortalised because of the way in which T.S. Eliot regarded him and spoke about him. But he was a very important part of the history of the church at the beginning of the 17th century. He was in turn Bishop of Chichester, Bishop of Ely and Bishop of Winchester, and before that he was Dean of Westminster. He was one of those learned people who met in 1604 to form the New Bible, but he came not from the Puritan party, which was if you like, the strongest party at that time, but from a party which looked, if you like, a little bit back to the traditions, the founding traditions of the church in England. He believed in the presence of Christ in the Eucharist, and he believed that the ritual and the prayer of the church should honour that presence and honour the incarnate Christ. And so his strand of believing helped maintain in the Church of England its Catholic heritage and its ceremonial. And he very much influenced William Laud, who was a bit more feisty and who came after him. He was above all a man of prayer, and he didn't fight for his position, but he just carried on practicing it. He carried on living out his faith, and that's something that he had in common with St. Sergius in Russia. People who chose to live out their faith, who lived it out in a faithful way, and then who had profound influence on those around them. That's a good thread for us in these difficult times. Staying close to God, living out our faith, and letting that overflow into our relationships with others. Let's ask God to bless us today as we seek to be near him in worship, in prayer, and in our daily lives.